Okay, I lied. I'm confessing here. Before we release anything having to do with that ostrich shank dinner there, we definitely need to take a look at an ingredient that was used in it because, well, you kind of have to know what I did. And that means we're going to take a look at an ostrich stock. I was able to acquire some bones and knuckles. Thank you so much, Horsefeathers. I really appreciate that. That's going to be a big help for this. So, of course, if you're interested in the recipe, head on over to kcknh.com. Monty and Allison are over at horsefeathersostrichfarm.com. Find us both on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share both of us. In this farm stand feature, we are going to show you all about the stock making that went in with these ostrich bones because it is a little bit different. Only in that I noticed some changes in the actual stock batch itself. And I actually got some great video snapshots to be able to show you exactly what I found. Now, of course, when you're making your purchases, you can always ask Monty and Allison any question you have. And for this, we're going to take a look at how I made ostrich stock. So, this recipe is going to be using 10 pounds of bones. I realize not everyone has access to a wicked big freezer, so you have the ability to cut the recipe in half all on your own. So, into a roasting pan or a sheet pan, salt, pepper, granulated garlic, and oil. Simple. Just simple. I'm using vegetable oil for this one because I'm using high heat. And I'm going to coat that pan as best as I can here, but not too much because we still want to put the bones on with a coating of more seasoning. So we are going to be preparing these marrow bones. Let me tell you something. These are gorgeous pieces of marrow bones. There's a lot of flavor in this. And one of the things I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a very unique aroma to this because it's very mineral rich. You will smell a lot of iron, potassium, you'll smell selenium. So it's very mineral rich. I don't want you to think it's off-putting. It's just because it's that damn good. And you'll see here, look at the beautiful, beautiful cuts. I'm just positioning them on the pan. Yeah, it really does feel like I'm doing a puzzle. I want to get as much exposure as I can on this. I'm just doing the best I can with it. And I always like to put this off to the side for about 30 minutes. I want this to come up to room temperature before I put it into the oven. So I'm just preparing this ahead of time. And just make sure that you're working as clean as possible, guys. So make sure that after handling the bones, wash your hands and make sure one hand is dedicated for your spicing. So at this point, I'm pretty happy with the placement of the bones. It looks like everything's going to get something out of this. That's the beauty of this. And I keep a separate container of salt, pepper, and granulated garlic all mixed up ahead of time. Very versatile, and it's easy for me to get stuff done. So we're applying somewhat liberally. I want to be able to see the seasonings on the bones. So I'm just making sure everything is getting dusted. And all around here, I'm looking at time frame is going to be very important to remind myself, set the timer. Now, typically with beef bones, you're not going to do more than 30 to 45 minutes. I am keeping with that rule because I am going to treat this like it were beef bones, even though it's not. But I want to pay careful and close attention to this because clearly I don't want to burn these bones. So let's check it out. And sure enough, I'm glad I calculated the time frame on this. Anything more than 45 minutes, you're going to burn this. These were roasted off at 450. And I have the beautiful color, the beautiful caramelized colors coming through. Even the marrow has come through here. This will smell intensely like beef, guys. So it's certainly very pleasing. I'm not going to lie. This was freaking beautiful. Into a big pot with some water. We are going to do this on a low boil. I don't want to go high on the heat because I noticed at 15, 30, and 45 minutes into making this stock, the changes that happen. And I certainly want to make sure, I have to emphasize, this is where you're going to definitely want to get cheesecloth. You gotta run this through. I found it was better for me to just let this whole thing do its own thing while it was on a low boil. I couldn't see myself skimming this like I constantly do with others. This was more feasible for me from what I found developing in that stock pot. And this created a beautiful aspic. I had a smaller container set aside just for this. After you put it in the fridge and it cools down a bit, you get this beautiful jelly, or aspic is what it's referred to. I'm thinking about some ostrich wontons, even ostrich dumplings. We'll do them soup style. And this aspic's going to come in handy. Absolutely. It is not a strong flavor, but it's definitely a cozy flavor. I actually tried this. This is definitely a game changer for me because honestly, this is a canvas that I can work with quite easily. And that's why we only did the salt, pepper, and granulated garlic. We also used this for the making of that ostrich shank dinner. I've got a little bit of Worcestershire sauce in that container with the ostrich stock. So that's why I'm holding off so I can get the stock video out. And then I'm going to finish up on that ostrich shank video for you. As always, thanks for joining me. Everyone, have yourself a great day and happy cooking.